We are on the road to Los Angeles 2028, and the road begins here in Indianapolis. The USA Lacrosse Experience from Carroll Stadium on the campus of IU Indianapolis. He is former Cornell and Boston Cannons legend Mitch Belisle. I am recent second-place bar trivia finisher Glenn Clark, and we are with you for Game 3 on day 1 of the event, and our first opportunity to take a look at the USA men as they battle Colombia. And Mitch, this is a loaded USA roster. There are stars, a lot of the younger stars, Pat Cavanaugh, Liam Entenmann, reigning Rookie of the Year in the PLL, TJ Malone of the Whipsnakes. Great chance for these young players to start putting themselves in the pipeline to be part of that first Olympics team.
Yeah, really unique and cool blend of players from all over the country, all different schools, a lot of strong Notre Dame ties. A couple Yale players, Andy Shea helming this team. Got a little Archers overlap with Tony Resch controlling their defense, but no box players, which I thought was really interesting. It'll be curious to see as we continue down the road. Do they incorporate more of the box guys because the sixes format is so similar with the pick and roll game and the 5v5 format?
Team USA in the white shirts and the blue shorts, moving left to right on your internet dial here in the first quarter. Colombia in the blue shirts, the white shorts, the white helmets for both teams. Colombia moving right to left. And we are underway, and Team USA looking for a fast start, dodging all the way in front and finishing quite quickly. Ryan Tierney gets the Americans on the board.
And that's how you do it.
Number 13, Jake Taylor.
Was it Taylor? It looked like
no, that was
It was,
Ryan Tierney.
here at the stadium, they announced Taylor, and I said, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that was Tierney. So Ryan Tierney, of course, playing for the California Redwoods, gets USA on the board. The starters for Team USA, Xander Dixon, Ryan Tierney, Michael Sowers, Piper Bond, Cole Kirst, and Liam Entenmann in goal. And the shot clock's going to expire for Colombia before they can get a shot off. Their starters, Robert Mendez, Jacob Haas-Janos, as well as Anthony Corcel, Quinn Guevara, and Alex Concannon. Of course, played for 5 years at Johns Hopkins before transferring to Hofstra. 46 career goals. That shot is wide and goes back the way of Colombia. In goal for Colombia, Oscar Cifuentes out of Tennessee Wesleyan University.
And that was a good stop there for Team USA in their first opportunity. Colombia without even able to get a shot off. There's a big physical dodge and a goal. What a look inside and a beautiful finish.
That is a heck of a moment for Colombia to make a statement early on. Kai Switlik, originally from Sacramento, California, a high school senior at Jesuit in California. And there's Cifuentes denying TJ Malone.
Another Cali kid in net with Oscar Cifuentes.
So a great start if you're Colombia, trying to show that you can play with the best in the world, Team USA. And in the early going, they get a couple of stops, score a nice goal, have a chance to take an early lead. What are your expectations, Mitch, for Team USA? What is it that you want to see from them this weekend? As again, they start on the path towards 2028, another shot clock violation for Colombia.
For me, it's all about their substitution patterns and their transition. How can they push the pace in transition? We saw at the World Games, that was an area where they really struggled against Canada in that championship. So I want to see what Coach Shea has taken since that 2022 loss and what they're going to change as they prepare for the as the Olympics in 2028.
Yeah, that's a big storyline for Andy Shea's team. Oh, fired in from outside. Goal scored by Tierney, his second already.
USA goal
USA
by
back in
number
front,
14,
2-1.
Ryan Tierney.
We're so used to Team USA on the field level. They haven't won every world championship, but they always seem to be the favorite going in. Obviously won the world championship in 2023 in San Diego, but here in sixes, the first major international competition, the World Games in 2022 down in Birmingham. As Mitch mentioned, they lost to Canada, and that's now a third shot clock violation for Colombia just here in the first quarter.
And it looks like what they're doing substitution-wise is they're playing an offensive shift, getting back and playing a defensive shift, and then subbing off almost wholesale. I've seen maybe one or two guys stay and play, but pretty much play offense, play defense, then get off is what it looks like they're trying right now.
Pat Kavanaugh, that's his first.
Great little look for Brian Tevlin sneaking around the net. He just shoots that one high off the quick stick.
Kavanaugh, of course, Tewaaraton Award winner last year at Notre Dame, back-to-back NCAA champion.
Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, regular.
Guests today, or yesterday, sorry.
Thrown behind. What a snag and a goal for Kavanaugh.
And goal scorer, in fact.
USA goal by number
Kavanaugh, of
50,
course, playing for the Boston
Kavanaugh.
Cannons in the PLL. 3-1 Team USA in the early going. From up top. Good dodge. Knowlting sends it in the middle.
Asher Knowlting, that big body, he used it so effectively in the PLL. I was very curious to see how he does defensively, and I'll be curious to watch a lot of these players that are attackmen, what they do, how they stay in play, and if they try to challenge them. And right now, he's covering the ball.
Well, and interesting in putting together this Sixes roster, a handful of players that found some great success in the PLL Championship Series last year, including Asher Knowlting, who's good in basically every version of lacrosse that there is, the three-time All-Star. But during the Championship Series last year, 15 goals, 12 assists for Knowlting. Save made by Entenmann.
Oh, and great pressure there on the extremely quick break out there. Entenmann immediately looking upfield.
Yep, to say the least, and it leads to a Matt Campbell goal. Campbell's first of the day. Another outstanding performer in the PLL Championship Series a year ago, including 7 two-point goals. Makes it 4-1. USA gets it right back, trying to add to it. Just over 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Thrown inside, but not quite on target. Looking for Bond. Stays with the U.S. Sowers loses it on the turf.
He looked for cutting Xander Dixon. Xander Dixon was on the receiving end of so many perfect passes from Jeff Teat this year in the PLL. It's almost like anything Teat would throw in would go in. And speaking of going in.
Yep. Going the other way. Colombia able to cut it to 4-2 thanks to Kai Switlick's second goal of the day. Switlick, a high school senior out here playing with some of the best players in the world and holding his own. Kavanaugh feeds it into the middle. It can happen that quickly. Does not take long. And the U.S. extends the lead back out to 5-2 here with just over a minute to play
goal by number 3,
Chris Aslanian. That is his first of the day. Great move in front, getting low. Retort from Colombia. Alex Concannon's first of the day.
Nice little inside roll there by Concannon. It looked like United States is kind of leaving their defenders on an island. They've supported a bit when they've needed to, but they really haven't slid per se. So they're going to say White's in the crease off ball.
Concannon, 79 career points in college. A coup. He wanted to play. He sought out. Has a grandparent from Colombia. He sought out Team Colombia, hoping to become part of the program. And to say the least, Oscar Daniel Castillo-Morales was quite happy to have him.
Absolutely. When you're getting a All-American, you're usually pretty happy about that.
Green card is United States number
So first
15,
penalty.
Ryan Conrad's going to the box for a push there. 30 seconds. Columbia will get their first opportunity at the extra man advantage.
Conrad coming over to the Maryland Whipsnakes.
Concannon just lets the cannon fly.
And he cuts it back to a one-goal game with his second
goal
of the
scored by
day.
number 42, Alex Concannon.
Quick response, no, won't go for Cole Kirst. You've seen an awful lot of the Kirsts the last few weeks. 2 of them playing in Utica at the World Box Championships. 2 of them on this roster, Cole and Colin. Competitive first quarter. USA in front 5-4 after 1 here in Indianapolis at the USA Lacrosse Experience.
USA Lacrosse merchandise right here at the USA Lacrosse Experience. Make sure to visit the USA Lacrosse retail tent located in the fan zone for exclusive USA Lacrosse Experience tees and the latest official USA Lacrosse apparel,
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
Two goals each for Alex Concannon and Kai Switlick for Colombia. 2 for Ryan Tierney, 1 apiece for Aslanian, Campbell, and Kavanaugh. Each goalie making 2 saves in the first quarter. 5-4, USA in front of Colombia after 1. Glenn Clark, Mitch Bilal with you at the USA Lacrosse Experience. And Mitch, I come away very impressed with Colombia in that first quarter.
Yeah, it was all Alex Concannon towards the back half, but Kai Switlick, the high schooler, coming out and playing some serious lacrosse, like you said, against the best in the world. We see Jack Concannon stepping into another one. That one got soaked.
You can see he is unafraid to step down from outside in transition. The U.S. trying to go in a hurry, and that's what they're capable of doing. Makes it 6-4 here to start quarter number 2.
That was a nice 3-on-1 opportunity there, finished off by Justin Anderson, the Las Vegas native.
Anderson's first of the day, playing for the Denver Outlaws, a 2-time PLL All-Star.
last U.S. goal by number 31, Justin Anderson.
Americans trying to stretch out this advantage here in the second quarter. Again, a reminder, results this weekend not most paramount. They're not giving away a trophy and getting free, not able to finish. Boy, that was a golden opportunity.
Nice little pick and slip there. The 2-man game executed very well by the U.S. lefties over there on that side.
It's the experience, and starting to build, starting to figure out what you want your roster to look like moving towards becoming first World Sixes Championships in a couple of years, and then obviously after that, the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Loose ball push over in the corner.
Yep, and that's going to be, you see that's going to be a minute foul. So you're not allowed to body check, this was just a big body check, a very legal body check in field, but in sixes you're not allowed to use your body to dislodge someone from their positioning or the ball. And Aslanian, just a great man ball situation in field, but in sixes, that's going to put him in the sin bin for a minute.
So man up opportunity for Colombia. Concannon thinking about stepping down from up top, and instead they throw it away. So that's frustrating. You get a man-up chance. Not able to convert.
And that penalty time runs with the clock, so you see USA wasn't too eager to pick that ball up. They're going to take as much time as required. You get 5 seconds to kind of secure that ball after goals or on the inbounds. They're going to use all 5 of that. It's almost like free 5 seconds off the penalty.
Still 15 seconds remaining on the penalty, and
what a move there.
Very impressive.
USA goal by number 7.
First time today, TJ Malone on the board. What a pick TJ Malone proved to be in the 3rd round of the PLL draft for the Whip Snakes. Ends up being Rookie of the Year and 2nd team All-Pro in his first pro season out of Penn State.
Columbia goal
The other
scored by
way,
number 24,
that's
Tabor.
Ryan Tabor. Ryan Tabor for the first time today. Tabor played club lacrosse at Concordia University, Irvine, and he scores to cut the lead to 7-5. Getting free up top, dodging and sending it home, Cole Kirst.
And this is where that kind of box style, 3 righties, 2 lefties,
USA
and you
goal
cycle,
by
you
number
see
47,
those
Cole
2
Kirst.
righties push down. Cole Kirst sweeps across the top, and now he has options. If the lefties get open, if the righties work that 2-man game after he sweeps, or he takes it himself, he does exactly that and finishes over the top.
Both Kirsts on the field right now as Colin has come in between the pipes in this 2nd quarter. These are the 2nd and 3rd of the Kirst siblings. Shot clock violation for Columbia. Of course, Connor the oldest, CJ then 4th. Those 2 played on the box team this summer in Utica. And Caden,
USA
the
goal
5th,
by number 22,
still to come
Michael
for
Sowers.
Rutgers. Michael Sowers on the board for the first time today.
Connor Kirst had a heck of a World Lacrosse Box Championships, was named to the All-World team. He scored some huge goals, including the game winner against the Haudenosaunee in the semifinal that sent the United States to their first ever gold medal game, where they ended up falling a little short, but earning that silver for the first time in U.S. box history. Was excited to be part of that experience, and obviously the women, Team 1, winning their first gold.
Hosjano shot high. U.S. gets it back. And penalty appears to be coming. And an EMO for the Americans, leading 9-5 with 3:32 remaining in the 2nd quarter.
Rodriguez is Bojorquez takes the knee on the sideline. They're saying, actually, you got to sit in the chair.
That's the way it works.
They've got the penalty, and it's not even him who's going to the box here. So
it's actually Suarez Rojas.
So we'll see this U.S. power play for the first time.
Suarez Rojas played at Hood College out in Western Maryland.
Columbia yellow issued to number 2,
Extra
Charlie
man look.
Suarez.
It's a 60-second penalty.
Oh, Kavanaugh wide open, but robbed on the inside by Cifuentes.
Battle for the ground ball continues. And was it crease first or was the push first? Crease was the call.
That's a big save there by Cifuentes. It's a spark. Now they're going to take their time, try to kill some of this clock.
Yep, they can kill the better part of the remaining 30 seconds. And we see, instead, they give it right back.
Nice takeaway check there. And that's where just so active with the sticks, Brian Tevlin there. Nothing, not like a big hard swing, just a little poke enough to dislodge the ball there.
Still 10 seconds on the penalty. Oh, and looking, there was an opportunity on the doorstep.
TJ Malone with a little cut through and replace was beautiful, but they
Great
get it.
fake and the perfect dive. Grant Ament getting into the mix.
USA goal by number 16, Grant Emmett.
First of the day for the PLL champion with the Utah Archers. And a first team All-Pro this season. Columbia will take a timeout with 2:16 remaining in the first half. USA has extended the lead out to 10-5 with 2:16 remaining in the second. What has the U.S. done better here in quarter number 2?
I think they're spreading the wealth. They're staying spaced. They're cutting hard, then replacing, and they're moving the ball quickly. They've got 9 scorers for those 10 goals. The only one with double digits is Ryan Tierney, who scored the first 2 goals of the game. So everyone has gotten their touches. They're finding a little bit better spacing, and they're certainly pushing the pace in transition when it's there.
USA playing, obviously, Colombia right now. The rest of the weekend, they've got a big one tonight against Puerto Rico. That's at 6 o'clock. You'll want to be with us for that. And then tomorrow night, they'll take on Great Britain in the nightcap of day 2, 8 o'clock tomorrow night back here at Carroll Stadium. For Colombia, later on this afternoon, they take on Great Britain. That'll be at 3:30. Then tomorrow night, they'll take on Puerto Rico at 5:15.
You got a chance to catch up a little bit with the coach of Colombia. It was really interesting to hear his take on how they put this team together. It's a mix of them seeking players and players seeking them out.
I really do think that for a program like Colombia that has not been a player on the world stage, right? This opportunity in sixes is, what a turnaround shot. That is not a goal, but it is incredible effort to get just free by Alex Kincannon to get that shot off. And you can see how much offense he can generate quickly. But it's about what sixes does to try to grow the game in places where maybe they have not been necessarily lacrosse hotbeds. That it's way easier to find a small group of players, as Cole Kerr scores his second of the day, way easier to find a small group of players and a smaller field that's not being used for a soccer match. You would take away an entire soccer field for full box lacrosse, or you certainly don't have many hockey arenas, as a coach pointed out in our conversation, to go play box lacrosse. Much more practical to try to play the sixes format and to try to grow the game that way, as Piper Bond gets his first goal of the day.
Yeah, and there's the space issue, and then there's the numbers issue, right? A lot of these countries, there's just not that many players playing, so to get a game or a legitimate practice, to be able to go 6-on-6, you only need to bring together 12 players to get a full field practice or a scrimmage. There's a turnover.
Pat Cavanaugh in transition scores his second of the game, as the U.S. has just completely blown this thing open. They're now outscored Colombia 8-1 here in this second quarter.
Oh, good cut look. I think the Cinderella magic is worn off a little bit for Colombia.
It was an inspired performance in the first quarter, but at some point you just knew the talent difference between these two programs would end up rearing its head, and that has been the case here in quarter number 2. Turnaround shot not on target. Again, if this is your first experience with sixes, there's no race to the end line. You miss a shot, it goes out, it's going the other way. Entenmann that's Kirst will fling it down. He's in for the second quarter, and that'll be how the first half comes to a close.
Kirst going for the goalie goal there at the end.
Trying to make it happen. U.S. outscores Colombia 8-1 in quarter number 2, and they have the 13-5 advantage at the half. We'll get you ready for half number 2 and take a look at our first half highlights when we come back. You're watching the USA Lacrosse Experience.
Through the end of the year. Visit www.athleticrepublic.com/USA-lacrosse to learn more. Fans, remember, all nations have a table.
When a child picks up a lacrosse stick, they welcome the wonder of something new. They gain a community and the lasting friendships it creates. At USA Lacrosse, we believe the sport is an opportunity for families to create a lasting connection and make memories that last a lifetime. Catch the fun and bring a friend to pick up and play.
During National Celebrate Lacrosse Week this November, head to usalacrosse.com/celebrate lacrosse to find a clinic near you.
Every player knows the skills you learn on the field can be the foundation for anything you choose to do in life.
Thank you for connecting me to a greater community.
We're growing beyond goals on the field.
And our futures are united.
So thank you, Lacrosse.
For inspiring me to be me.
We are better,
safer,
and wiser together.
And we're building a stronger future
for everyone.
they could see themselves play and then we can correct it and then bring those corrections to the field. That's every coach's dream.
Halftime in Indianapolis, Team USA leading Team Colombia 13-5 at the USA Lacrosse Experience. I want to thank our partners who have helped to make the USA Lacrosse Experience possible, including Bibi Bop Asian Grill, Condado Tacos, Tequila, and Margaritas, Penn Station East Coast Subs, and Taylor's Bakery. Glenn Clark alongside Mitch Belisle. We're going to take a look at our first half highlights, see how it is the Team USA built up this advantage. If you weren't with us at the start, it was a great fight from Colombia in the first quarter. They trailed just 5-4 at the end of one, thanks to great plays by Kai Switlick and Alex Kincannon. Things just kind of got away from them there in quarter number 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they did anything too differently. It's just the United States really flexed their ability to change the pace, push and transition, and space out, move the ball quickly. That to me was the biggest thing. Is the United States, as we see, it was really one-on-one goals for Colombia, but then for the United States, they continued to share the ball and make that second and that third pass, which ended up in easy dunks. And we talked about this earlier, but England, the British team, they talk about not shooting but finishing. This is a prime example. You see Grant Ament diving across and then sprinting back, but they're getting open looks for that wide open guy right there. See Cole, there's the extra look. Even Piper Bond, more of a defensive player, getting in on the action. But they're having these wide open looks, so it's 1-on-0 with the goalie. So instead of having to shoot the ball, they just look where the goalie is and they finish around him.
I want to have a philosophical conversation with you about how you're building your Sixes team, right? Like, what kind of players do you want? What is it that you're looking for to make a more perfect Sixes group?
Yeah, and I think the question here is, like, if you're looking at the Olympics, right? You're looking at the Olympics, who are we competing with? It's probably Canada. Hopefully it's the Haudenosaunee if they're able to enter that.
Yep.
England is certainly making a push, but how do you beat those teams? And really Canada, who we just faced in the box championships, we saw this in the World's Games in 2022. They play a box style. They play two-man games. They feed the ball inside. They work a lot of off-ball picking and rolling. So we have to be able to defend that. So that's, I think, where you build the core, is that defending a two-man game. So I think some box transition type players, we talked about Connor Kirst, I think would be a great addition here. Guys who have NLL experience, and then you need to be able to score and push the pace and transition. Guys who are sure with their stick, can get back and play defense, but are smart enough to flip that switch and push the pace on transition. Those are the guys I think that I'm going to want. So a mix of like the hybrid kind of box transition player, and then the field offensive guy, and then like a Piper Bond. He's really impressed me today with his size, his ability to defend one-on-one, and then scoring touch there, seeing him pop one in the net as well.
USA wins the opening face-off of the third quarter and doesn't take long. Jake Taylor on the board for the first time today.
13,
Denver native and another two-time champion. The only current collegiate player on the roster this weekend, getting ready for his 6th year at Notre Dame, where he's already won 2 NCAA titles.
And loves to score goals in a myriad of ways, as we get a nice bounce shot there.
Ryan Conrad getting on the board for the first time today.
USA goal by number 15, Ryan
Mentioned
Conrad.
he was very impressive in the PLL Championship Series, playing at that point with the Water Dogs before he was dealt to the Whip Snakes, and making a run all the way to the PLL Championship game.
And that's where, like, so that's a prime example. Asher Knowlting right there, matched up one-on-one against Kincannon. Like, you either have to plan for that and have a slide ready, or you got to change that matchup so he doesn't end up getting run by.
Blanchard Inostosa scoring for the first time today to cut it to 15-6. Columbia getting it back. Team USA, that huge second quarter to open things up. And I feel like, again, the scoreboard really isn't the story for Team USA. It's what kind of progress are they making, as that shot is wide.
I think
Liam
Entenmann got a piece of that, so they'll get a fresh shot clock here.
Exactly right. Back in for this third quarter, Liam Entenmann being asked to try to come up with another one. And what's the call here?
That's an illegal body check. You're certainly not allowed to do that. This could be an expulsionary event. I think it's probably going to be a 1 minute, but
okay.
We'll look for the color of the card. Yeah, you're not allowed to play the body there. Piper Bond just reverted right back to PLL style. So we get a little wind picking up here in the booth.
And nobody got to see the dramatic catch that I made on your notes flying by me. I feel like
you introduced yourself as a second place bar trivia winner. I think first place.
Instincts. Sometimes.
You talked about your soft hands, your days as a tight end.
That's right. So Piper Bond indeed serving, it's a 2-minute penalty for Piper Bond. So a huge opportunity here for Colombia to try to scratch their way back into this a little bit.
And there's no release on the goals, so that'll be full-time served.
But a missed shot is the same thing as a turnover at this point. So the U.S. gets it back.
This is an area, you get your 4 best offensive players. You get a Michael Sowers or Grant Amon out here. They're pretty dangerous one-on-one. Even one-on-2, they're pretty dangerous.
No question. They're unafraid to go. Oh, boy, getting free really well, Amon, but not able to deliver the...
That one hit the post or the goalie. That was either Cifuentes or the orange pipe, but either way, they'll get a reset. That's another 30 they can kill off the clock here.
Stays with Team USA. They don't even really seem to be prioritizing killing the penalty. This seems more to be, from Andy Shea's perspective, an opportunity. Run some offense. Even man down. Let's see what we can do. Amon finds the cutter, making his move and delivering it. Justin Anderson for the second time today.
You saw Anderson kind of wrapping around the crease.
Justin Anderson.
Seemed like he might come and catch that. He did. He kept his feet moving. I loved how he continued his momentum as he caught that and just ran around and past the Colombian defenders for a great shot opportunity that he put in the back of the net.
Man down goal for the Americans.
Looks like they've been running more of a diamond set. So Coach Tony Resch putting a little wrinkle there as opposed to the box, going with the diamond to match up on that 5v5, force those outside shots as Entman's a little ginger.
Don't like the way he walks that one off after coming up with the save. So the U.S. on that 2-minute penalty, that man down situation, outscores Colombia 1-0, despite being man down. Past the midway point of this third quarter, it's been all USA. There's a nice save from Cifuentes, denying Taylor on the doorstep.
Beautiful no look, but Taylor steps in the crease after he shoots it, so the ball is going to stay or go back to Colombia. So not like box, you're not allowed to run through the crease. Much more like the field game. Any touch in the crease, the ball goes to the other team.
We did see the dive earlier.
You're allowed to dive, you just can't make contact with the goaltender.
Exactly. Oh, good movement, but no angle there for Cole Kirst after he came away with it.
Oh, Ryan Tierney puts that right off the back end to Rob Menendez. You like blocking the shots,
that
saving your goalie, but...
Yep. He's a tough guy, Mendez. He was also a football player back in high school. From South Setauket, New York.
Split time between St. Leo and Albany under Coach Marr, the Great Danes.
2:59 remaining in this third quarter. USA in front 16-6.
I think they were sorting out how much time is on the shot clock. Because it went off a defender, it's not going to be a reset there.
That's correct. Oh, turnaround from Kavanaugh off the pipe. He's able to track down the ground ball himself. And from well outside, Ryan Tierney, that's a tough angle to shoot from.
And he scored one of those early, and I thought, that low to high, it's a high risk, high reward. If you miss it, it's almost guaranteed that the ball's going to the other team there. He scored the first one that time, not so lucky.
Are you still okay with the shot because of how capable of a shooter he is?
I think so, and I think also where we are in this game, where they were in the shot clock right there, it was probably not that many other options.
U.S. will get it back. Oh.
We got a
Nope.
30-second penalty on 22 whites. That's going to be Michael Sowers.
So another man-up opportunity for Colombia. They were just man-up for 2 minutes, not able to come away with a goal. They scored 4 in the first quarter. They've scored just 2 since. Outscored 11-2 since the end of quarter number 1.
And you see this this diamond defense really putting a ton of pressure on the top shooter of Colombia, and they just really don't know how to handle it right now.
Corey Tiest. And Entenmann comes away with it. The other way. Getting free and delivering it. Matt Campbell, second of the game.
Great skip look there.
Goal by number 20, Matt Campbell.
Reigning first team All-Pro with the Boston Cannons. I hear you know a thing or two about that particular team.
Played a few games, had a cup of coffee with the Cannons.
Just a couple over the years.
A couple cups of coffee. 10 years worth of coffee.
So much coffee.
Teeth.
Yeah, right. Headed back. Team USA in the final minute of this third quarter.
They're content to slow this down a little bit, try to run their offense to its full extent.
As Lanian keeps it moving. Oh, dumped inside, too easy. Tierney from Taylor. And for Ryan Tierney, this game is his recital. He thinks it's very vital to rock a rhyme that's right on time. Hat Tricky is his title. 18-6.
We got Run DMC, we got Boy Meets World. It's a game for everybody.
This is a game for the 40-year-olds, is what you're saying.
6 is for the world. Still 38, Glenn. Still got a couple more years.
I am not. 41. Thinking about it, stepping down and dropping the bomb. Cole Kirst joins the hat trick party.
You kind of saw Kirst think about it. Evaluate, do I have any other options? No, I do not. I will let this thing fly, and fly it did right to the bottom left corner.
Team USA continues to separate. Kirst's third of the day makes it 19-6 at the end of quarter number 3. One more quarter to go here at the USA Lacrosse Experience.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
Glenn Clark, Mitch Belisle, and an unrelenting sun with you from Indianapolis for the USA Lacrosse Experience. USA men in front of Colombia, 19-6 after 3 quarters. As we talk about, the results are not most paramount this weekend. It's the experience. And I would imagine that there's an awful lot for Andy Shea to like about what he's seen from his group.
Yeah, I think I really like the balance of scoring. 12 different scores. You've got Ryan Tierney with 3 and Cole Kirst with 3, but otherwise it's really been whoever has the ball at the end of those 30-second possessions. They're sharing it well. They're using the full 30s, not forcing passes, but making the extra pass. And that's something that I think is really paramount. You got to make the extra pass but you don't want to make too many passes or try to get too cute. They're finding that one more for the wide open look on the net, and then they're taking their time around to finish. Even some of the more D-midi types are doing a nice job of looking, making a quick fake, and bearing. And I think that's where the United States is so good at that. It's really gonna prove to be important as they head down towards 2028.
It'll be Colombia ball to start quarter number 4. And I would say the same thing. I would think, despite the score, that there has been just enough for head coach Oscar Daniel Castillo-Morales to be pleased with, given the giant step up in competition for a Colombia program that has not participated in basically any major international competition in recent years.
Yeah, they've certainly looked strong. They've come out, they've done some nice things. And let's face it, they're going against a juggernaut. They've been shorthanded a few times, and then when they had the power play, they've really struggled because the United States has thrown that diamond and put pressure on them. But I think they've exceeded expectations with some of their one-on-one dodging, some of their finishing, and they played some good defense when able.
And Oscar Cifuentes has done what he can do, but there's only so much that you can do when you're facing the best players in the world, as the USA stretches the lead out to 2 touchdowns with Piper Bond's second of the day.
And you just see the crisp stick work of the United States. These are players that have come off a PLL season. Some of them are playing in other Team USA events, so they've just been playing at a very high level for a long time.
I should point out that Colombia did participate in the PALA qualifier a few years back at the field level, and a lot of these players were part of that, so they can fall back on that experience a little bit as they get this group together. But this group very much coming together quickly. Not a lot of time to prepare for this event.
Well, that's you bring that up. These teams, looking towards Los Angeles, they're going to have more time to really put in systems and figure out exactly who their team is. For this event, they had one practice, I believe. Colombia did, at least. The United States had one training camp back in June. So really, this is where they're doing a lot of the learning, adjusting, and these are the first games of the day. So they'll probably take this film, watch a little bit tonight, change some things up, try some different things.
It's going to be over and back. Kincannon couldn't save it, and the U.S. can kill off the remaining 15 seconds of the Piper Bond penalty. Or if they don't want to, they don't have to. Who am I to tell them what they should do with their time? Instead, maybe you just go ahead and score a goal. Matt Campbell joining the hat trick party.
And it's also interesting, the rosters for the Olympics, 10 runners and 2 goalies, 12-person roster. So this roster is a little bit inflated for this event to give more players an option. We've got more scorers right now than we would have players on an actual Olympic roster. So it is unique, and it's going to be one of the most competitive selection processes for that team that'll play in LA.
2-on-1 and an easy finish the other way for Matt Campbell for goal number 4 on the day.
USA goal by number 20, Matt Campbell.
22-6, 5.5 remaining. And interesting, too, that a bit of a younger roster, not college players. We mentioned just Jake Taylor, but a lot of rookies from the pro level this year that are a part of this roster, trying to figure out what it might look like. We noticed that, like, the USA women's roster that you're going to see here in our next game, it's all of the top stars. Like, they're all there. It'll be interesting to see how the USA men's sixes program comes about. Sixes versus field. Who's playing sixes? Who's playing field over the course of the next 4 years?
And box. Don't forget box.
Right,
There's 3 disciplines to pick from, and you got guys like Tom Schreiber who can do a little bit of everything.
Absolutely.
He probably, I would argue, depending on how he holds up physically, would arguably be your first pick on all 3 of those teams, as Asher Knowlton uses his big size to get topside.
Asher Knowlton joining the party, his first of the game, 13th different goal scorer on the day for Team USA to make it 23-6. And yeah, that's a great point. You pointed out that the players from the box team aren't here this weekend, but that doesn't mean that moving forward in this process that we won't see more of those guys ending up here at sixes.
Right. And I think the fact that Utica did take place just over that 10 days, maybe, what was that, a week and a half ago, they probably looked at limiting those selections, knowing those players might have been physically or mentally tapped out after that 10-day experience. So it'll be very unique and curious to see what they do moving forward as they continue to test out who might be on the actual Olympic team. But with 3.5, 4 years left, you still got guys, probably high school players that we don't even know about that might rise to that level.
And it really is interesting to me, Mitch, and I don't know how much you would have thought about this, the number of potential top stars that perhaps, I don't know how enamored they are with sixes in general, but the opportunity that now exists to play in the Olympics, to check that box as something that you accomplish as an athlete, it will be fascinating to see how much that drives some of the top stars in our sport to say, no, I do want to commit to playing sixes. I do want to put myself in the pipeline for 2028.
Absolutely. It is the Olympics, right? There's no bigger stage in sports, and I think the honor of wearing the USA jersey, I've gotten to do it in box and in field, and sixes wasn't a thing when I was doing it, but there's no better feeling than representing your country, and I can only imagine what that would be like on that Olympic stage with all the other sports represented.
Colombia calls their second timeout of the second half. Midway point of the fourth quarter. Defender hung up. Colombia not able to take advantage of it. U.S. gets it back.
And that's where, if you're Colombia and you see two white jerseys going down in your goal, you might as well not even get back, right? You might as well just start breaking back out. And that's where I think the United States has done a decent job of that. Their players, especially their offensive players playing defense, they recognize once that Colombia player is committed to taking that shot, there's nothing you're going to do to help, right? Maybe there's a rebound, but you might as well push the pace and transition. For anyone who watched the World Games in Birmingham, Zach Currier, he's done that for years in the NLL with Christian Del Bianco as his goalie. As soon as that shot's happening, he doesn't care what's going on behind him. He's taking off upfield and looking for the pass.
Shot doesn't get off in time, so the U.S. gets it back.
Oh, Xander Dixon, have yourself a slip pick, my friend.
Very nicely done. Make it 24-6.
USA goal by number 10.
And that's his first
Dixon.
of the game. And now make it 14 different goal scorers on the day for the U.S.
What a save, and then the push.
It is coming that rapidly.
USA
just
goal by number 13,
that quick.
Jake
Taylor's second of the day.
I was looking down the roster. I saw Dixon had not yet scored. They looked for him early. That's his first goal of the game, as Kavanaugh says, you can't do that. It's a moving pick. The ball go to USA, and they'll push the pace immediately with Grant Amon.
Pat Kavanaugh is certainly someone who's pushing himself into that upper echelon, one of the top stars in the sport.
Nice save there by Cifuentes.
Faking the step down. Brian Tevlin trying to get into the mix. One of the few players on the roster who hasn't scored yet for the United States. In fact, I believe Tevlin is the only field player yet to score today. So they got to get him one in the next 2 minutes, right?
2 minutes. 2 minutes
there's
left.
a big hit, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be
big.
At least a minute here.
As Mandel Franco goes down out of Swarthmore College.
They're going to call that a 1-minuter.
Colombia has partnered up with a nonprofit called Lacrosse the Nations. And they're working on not just the sport itself in Colombia, but also teaching values and tutoring and nutrition plans and mental health. As again, sixes, they're trying to use it to grow the game in places that have not traditionally been lacrosse hotbeds.
Lacrosse the Nations is a great organization it's been around for a long time, and I think some strong former teammates of mine from the LA Riptide used to help with that organization, but cool to see its global influence continuing. What a rip.
Nice step down from Vincent Aguero. High school junior out here playing against the best in the world. And Aguero gets his first of the game.
And they're going to take it back here.
Colombia goal by number 11, Vincent Aguero.
We're getting an officials timeout. They're going to talk through things and determine. One of the officials signaling Colombia would get the ball back.
So I'm going to go back to a thought that we were just talking about, is some of the top stars in the game and what they might decide. I did put the question to Paul Rabel when they made the announcement. Any chance that makes you want to think about coming out of retirement? Any chance that you say to yourself, I got one more run in me. I got one more. Who is the basketball player with the famous meme of, I got one more year? I think it was Vince Carter. I got one more in me. I did ask that question to Paul Rabel after the announcement, like, any chance that makes you think about it? And Paul said, no.
Maybe if it was next year or
right.
2 years, right? But
no.
4 years
down the future. 4 years
future.
Down the road, nope, not happening. And I think he even would say, even if it was next year or 2 years from now, he has exited that part of his life, obviously, running the PLL and the business side of things consuming him at this point. So not going to be one that's going to poke his head into the conversation.
But he'll be involved somehow.
Oh, there's no question
such a big
about
part
that.
of the lacrosse landscape as it is.
Colombia gets it back. And it'll be saved, but shot clock running down. Mandel Franco. Skip pass, not held on to by Sheedy. And the U.S. gets it back as we hit 1 minute to play in the fourth quarter. Impressive performance from the U.S. If you weren't with us, it was a battle for a quarter. U.S. led just 5-4 at the end of one. They've outscored Colombia 20-3 since then. Off the pipe.
And that's where I think the United States have really just spread out. And you can see they're just so fast at beating their man one-on-one. And then Colombia's forced to make the decision, do I go and leave someone else wide open? Or do I stay and let someone take that outside shot? And the United States has done a really nice job of every time. Whatever way Colombia gambles, they take advantage. If they don't slide, they shoot and they score. If they do slide, they pass the ball, move it one more, and then bury. So United States really fast decision-making has been extra beneficial.
A fake, and then the save by Entenmann as he denies Kincannon, and that will be how this one comes to a close. Ultimately, a dominant performance for the United States as they take down Colombia 25-7. Mitch Belisle, some final thoughts from you on this one.
I think the biggest thing for me is this United States roster is balanced. They do a nice job of going right, left, spreading the ball. They really worked well to create space for each other, and you could see them play to each other's strengths. When Grant Ament has his man one-on-one, they're giving him space to dodge so he has his hands free. Ryan Tierney finding those soft spots and letting it fly. They're really playing to each other's strengths. I think defensively they also forced Colombia to make some really tough decisions quickly, and that bode extremely well for the U.S. defense.
Coming up later on tonight, USA Puerto Rico. That will be at 6 o'clock. Both teams winners this morning, so a big showdown for that one. Colombia back in action this afternoon at 3:30 against Great Britain. Coming up next at about 12:45, we'll have the USA women for the first time this weekend as they battle Colombia as well. We'll be back with you for that one as you are watching the USA Lacrosse Experience in Indianapolis.